doing things ahead of time and kind of holding products off so that I can build a campaign and build marketing around it, or keeping things in stock for longer. So instead of doing like one of a product, maybe doing 10 or 20 or 100, so that I can actually implement marketing rather than just kind of making it up as I go.
Hey, my feel-gooders. If you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, you've probably realized how much I geek out when I get to interview others on the show. I absolutely love talking to other people about their lives and businesses and social media and all the things. And I have to say that today's interview is seriously one of my all-time faves. Today I'm chatting with Julianne Mahoney, and to put it simply, she is one of my favorite humans. Julianne owns 2 businesses. She's a dietitian who focuses on intuitive eating for adventurous women, and she hand sews artist-designed sustainable climbing gear on the side, which I geek out about. And so today I wanted to invite her on the show to chat about what it's like to market these 2 very different businesses on Instagram and share her best tips for managing it all without losing her mind. But it really doesn't stop there. In today's chat with Julianne, we go deep into so many things, like how to promote your values in your business to build a stronger community and actually make a difference in the world. And we get pretty vulnerable as we share about some of the harder issues that are near and dear to both of our hearts. Julianne is a genuine, open-hearted ray of sunshine of a human being, and I am so excited to share our conversation with you today. I actually met Julianne when she found this podcast back in February and then signed up for the March session of our Feel Good Social Map online course. And I'm going to be honest, when Julianne started listening to the podcast and reached out to me on Instagram, I was like, halla frickin' Luya. This makes all of the hours that I've put into my business, in this podcast, and Instagram worth it. She was so much fun to support in the course, and it was amazing to help her do the work and actually see results. You know that I am an Instagram nerd who thinks that social media marketing is really fun. But the real motivation behind what I do is because I want to make a difference in your life and business. I want to make sure that the genuine, down-to-earth, hard-working entrepreneurs like you and Julianne are doing social media in the best way that actually gets you results without wasting your precious time, so that you can live the life you want to live, spread your message, and make a difference in the world. Can I get an amen, people? So if you're interested in finally taking control of your social media marketing and ramping up your efforts for the summer season, I'd love to invite you to check out our Feel Good Social Map online course. This is a 4-week program where we will create your social media strategy, map out all of your summertime sales and campaigns, plus batch plan and schedule all of your social posts for July. I'll share my signature content planning system with you and teach you how to plan all of your marketing content in just a few hours every month. So your social media stress will forever be a thing of the past. How nice does that sound? You can enroll in our June session right now until May 29th. And at the time I'm recording this, we've already had some seriously rad entrepreneurs sign up, and I would love to have you join us. To find out all the nerdy deets about this program and sign up, just head to feelgoodsocial.com/social map. Just go to feelgoodsocial.com/social map, and you can find out everything you need to know there, my friend. I would love to have you in the program for June, and I know that it will make a difference for your business. All right, are you ready for one of my favorite chats ever with an awesome lady who's making big strides in this world? Let's do this thing. Hey friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social Podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm here to help you market your business in a genuine way that works without wasting your precious time. On this show, we chat about social media strategy and mindset tips with a focus on, you guessed it, feeling good. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some genuine conversation for the good of your biz. Hi, Julianne. Thanks so much for joining us, hon.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Well, I did already introduce you a little bit in the intro, but I would love to hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? And who do you serve?
So I am Julianne Mahoney. I'm originally from Maryland, but I'm kind of been a little bit of a dirtbag the past couple of years, moving all around the U.S. I'm a lover of dogs and everything outdoors, and I actually run two small businesses. The first is called the Outdoor RD. So I work one-on-one with women in doing nutrition counseling, and I help them improve their relationship with their food, their body, and exercise. And then my second business is called Dirt Chalk Bags, and I home make artist-designed, eco-friendly climbing gear, which is always a mouthful. But yeah, so I just mainly serve super rad outdoor folk in both the businesses. That's my focus. And just try to make their lives a little bit better with improved relationship with their body and movement and a really cute chalk bag.
Yes. Oh, I absolutely love both of your businesses, but I am just so excited about Dirt Chalk Bags. I actually have the tab open on my computer to your Etsy, and I'm like, which bag should I choose? I just can't choose which bag.
I have so many that I'm kind of hoarding too.
Oh, shoot.
I've been on Etsy for 2 years now, and I've outgrown it. So I'm finally developing my own website, which will be up probably by the time this podcast launches, actually.
Yes.
And there's going to be so many new designs. I'm so excited about it.
Oh, okay, I'll hold off. I know, I'm just so excited. I want like one for all of my climbing buddies, you know what I mean?
I like sometimes match my chalk bag to my outfit. That's the hard part of running your own business. You're like, I'm going to keep this one for me.
Wow. Oh, that's a great idea too. Well, I love that you have these two different businesses. I think it's so cool that you have this kind of service-based business and the product-based business. And so that's kind of why I brought you on the show to chat about just, how you use social media for both of these businesses and how you're managing both accounts.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's definitely been a learning curve, I'd say, because I started my service-based business about 2 months ago. And then I've been doing my product-based business for 2 years. So I was really used to product-based marketing, and now switching it up. It's been really interesting to see how similar and how completely different they are.
Yeah, definitely. It's so interesting. I've worked with a few different clients and stuff, and it's just a different perspective, especially when it comes to Instagram, when it's how should you approach, talking to your clients and then selling your products and all of those things. I'm so excited to chat with you, lady. Well, I would love to know just a little bit about what has your, social media journey looked like for you and felt like with both of these accounts.
So I would say for Dirt Chalk Bag, so I started that back in college. So to preface this, when I started Dirt Chalk Bags, I didn't really intend for it to ever become a business. It was kind of like a fun thing to do in between homework and my job. And so I was just kind of doing it, not intending for it to go anywhere. Like when people would ask, how long are you planning to do this for? And I was like, I don't know, probably till graduation, maybe a little bit longer. I was like, we'll just see. And then it kind of just did its own thing. And now 2 years later, I'm like, okay, it obviously has snowballed into something that I never thought it could be. So now I'm finally, I never really had considered social media before because I didn't think of it as a business. So for 2 years, I would just post when I felt like it. I took significant breaks from marketing and from social media. And I actually probably greatly hindered what this business could be right now. I've kind of been holding it back unintentionally because I never thought it had wheels, you know? So for dirt chalk bags, it's really been all over the place. I never thought it could be something. So I never did the work to develop a strategy or brand, or I just kind of was putting out what I would have probably posted on a personal account, which is nice because now I've made all of these friends through it. But at the same time, I've kind of been doing myself a disservice from actually promoting my values and what I want this brand to be. So now, 2 years in, I'm finally sitting down doing the work. I was lost, honestly, completely lost before I found your course. So now, after taking Feel Good Social Marketing Map, I'm actually finding a path, starting to develop that. And it's so much easier than like taking a break halfway through sewing to come up with something and post it, or to take a picture like right next to me and post it right away.
Yes.
So it's kind of been a mess with that business.
Well, I love that. I think it's so interesting when people start out with something like that and it's just kind of a side project, and then all of a sudden it grows into this thing that's bigger than they ever expected or were even trying to make it.
Yeah.
Because then you know that it has something, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, if I wasn't trying necessarily with this project, then now that I will start trying, oh man, like that just like excites me so much. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Definitely. No, that's just craziness. Yeah, I realized not this winter, but the winter before, I had still kind of just been doing it on the side, like whenever I had time, and the holidays came around and I had to shut down my shop because I couldn't keep up with orders. And I was like, this is insane. Like, I don't do Facebook ads. I don't do any marketing. So like, if I was doing stuff, just insane.
And I think that there's something to be said about, I really believe that like social media should be kind of personal. Like that's the best way you can market your business, is to like really include yourself in your business and to try to like, in a way, make those friendships with your ideal followers. And so I think that that's a great point that you have grown this account based on kind of, you know, the informal friendships and all that stuff. But now you can kind of take that and like organize it with a strategy.
Yeah. Maybe make my grid look a little bit better and like promote. Because I still, like, if I'm tabling, or sometimes people that have bought for me don't realize that I do everything. They often think that I have like a whole team behind me, or that someone's sewing for me, or I just do like the designs and then I get a machine sewn. But like I am talking to all the artists, I'm cutting all the fabric, I'm sewing everything, I'm shipping everything. It's a one-woman team, and a lot of people weren't realizing that. So now I've started to kind of show my process a little bit more, give them a little bit more behind the scenes, so they realize the sheer amount of work that actually goes into like their single chalk bag or their backpack.
Yeah, seriously. Oh man, because when I looked you up and I started following you and everything, I had the same reaction. I was like, oh, I wonder how this works, you know, behind the scenes. And I wasn't sure if you were designing everything or like sending prints out to a different company to have the products made. And when I found out you were the one doing everything, I was like, that is so cool. And like, obviously, hopefully that won't be forever, you know. I could see you growing and hiring a team and stuff, but I'm so glad that you're sharing that behind the scenes stuff now.
Yeah, and it's been really cool to show people that too. I've had a really good reaction, and that's definitely starting and to like catch wind and promoting more of my like core pillars about sustainability and everything like that. And even like the reasons behind starting the company and kind of what I believe in has really been able to kind of create a community now, which is just crazy. But yeah, social media on that side has definitely been crazy. On the outdoor RD side, it's been a lot simpler, I'd say, just because being a dietitian is my life. Like that's what I am and what I've been working towards since I was like 15 years old. So doing that side of social media has been, I would say, a lot easier, just because I'm just putting out there the thoughts in my head. Like it is straight from the core of who I am. And it's also service-based. So it's a little bit more like I know what I offer. So then writing content is a lot simpler. Whereas for dirt bags, I have to sew a product before I can market it. So I'm able to do a lot more social media for the outdoor RD, like on the fly and kind of plan it out for a long distance. Whereas for dirt chalk bags, it's a little bit more short notice, which I've noticed. And now I'm actually going to adapt my company to fit social media marketing a little bit. So doing things ahead of time and kind of holding products off so that I can build a campaign and build marketing around it, or keeping things in stock for longer. So instead of doing like one of a product, maybe doing 10 or 20 or 100, so that I can actually implement marketing rather than just kind of making it up as I go.
Oh, I'm like proud mama over here, like clapping, like, yes, that is so amazing. And I love it. And yeah, I think that is such a great point when it comes to marketing products or marketing services, where it's kind of the reverse. You can market yourself before you actually do it for the service. And maybe it feels more personal. How do you feel like the difference internally, I guess, marketing products and marketing services?
It's a lot different. Not because, I started dirt chalk bags because I wanted a really cool chalk bag.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, an awesome reason to start a business. Like, I was like, chalk bags are super lame. Let's make one that's super rad.
Hell yeah. That's like the best way is like, I want this. Other people probably want it as well, right?
Yeah.
Like...
I was like, I'm going to do this. My friends want some. And then I was like, people on the internet want them. So that was more of kind of just a fun reason to start a business. Whereas for the outdoor RD, I started nutrition counseling because I had spent, 5 years struggling and recovering from an eating disorder all on my own. So I am privileged enough that I was getting a degree in dietetics and exercise physiology. So I had the knowledge to actually bring myself out of an eating disorder. Like, I understood how my body worked, and I was able to pull myself through that, but I was all alone in the process. So I decided along the way, especially as I recovered through climbing, like climbing really helped me recover from my eating disorder. Hiking, all of that were a big reason that I was able to shift my mentality from self-hate to a place that I love my body and can honor my body and respect it. And then being able to recognize that there's so many people in those sports still that are struggling, I decided that I would do nutrition counseling and kind of help them, guide them through that process. Whereas marketing for dirt chalk bags is kind of like fun. Like, look at this cute thing that I made. Marketing for the outdoor D is a lot more emotional, I'd say. Like, sometimes even just talking to potential clients or to followers on Instagram, like, I'll cry or I'll get emotional when they tell me about what they're going through right now. Because I would say, it's a lot more like personal, even though dirt chalk bags is all me and all like things that I love. At the same time, this is kind of like the other side of that. Like, this is super vulnerable. It's a really kind of raw place that I used to be in, and I can really empathize with people about what they're going through. And relate to them really well. Like, on every single call that I'm on with a client, I'm like, oh my God, I've been there. And like, I can understand what you're going through. Let's get you through this. So marketing, I'd say, is a lot more emotional for the outdoor D. I'm able to really like get into the soul over there. Where it's a lot more lighthearted, I'd say, for dirt chalk bags.
Yeah, and I think that's so interesting, and that's that's another reason why I just am so intrigued by your two accounts, because of exactly that. It's like, one is kind of heavy, emotional driven, and you have so much experience, and you do with the dirt chalk bags as well, but definitely that's more lighthearted. Is it hard to separate those two accounts when you're managing them at the same time?
It has been for two reasons. One, because the app that I use to like post things when I have it planned sometimes glitches, and I'll accidentally post on the wrong account, and I'm like, that does not belong here, and I'll have to like delete it really quickly. So that's difficult. But also, I would say, before I started the Outdoor D, I have kind of exposed a little bit more about myself on dirt chalk bags. So I've done posts talking about my eating disorder or my body image in climbing. just to kind of break the ice for the same reason that I'm doing the outdoor RD. There's no one really talking about these issues. Finally, pro climbers are starting to be a lot more open with their struggles, but there's still like huge stigma around talking about them. So I've been trying to bring them up on both of my accounts, whereas like the outdoor RD, that's mainly what I talk about. With dirt chalk bags, I'll bring it up occasionally. So yeah, I've talked about, I was in an emotionally abusive relationship for 5 years, and I was like, here's what happened to me. I got through it a year later. Like my life is so much better. And I had like 30 women reach out to me and tell me that they had lived through that and like same exact experience. And they were so happy that someone else was talking about it. So I've also done that I had an attempted sexual assault last year on my road trip. Someone tried to attack me, and I put that out there that, I was walking around. I had been on the road alone for a month living in the wilderness, and I went into a city for one day and someone tried to attack me. And I put that out there, and I've talked about, my body image issues. I've talked about financial issues and things like that. And I kind of put them in there occasionally because dirt chalk bags is lighthearted, and that's not really, I like to promote openness and vulnerability. If you talk to me for 5 minutes, I'll tell you my deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah.
But that's just who I am as a person. But it's also more of a happy, lighthearted brand, which is also who I am. So I try to sprinkle it in there without weighing down the whole account. But I think it's important to kind of share a little bit on both sides. So I try to incorporate a little bit between them. But lately, I just write all of my captions in a note on my phone. And then sometimes I'll take general ideas and either dilute them down for one and make it a little bit heavier for the other. Or I'll just share, sometimes I share a post to my story from the other account to just be here's some information about eating disorders and climbing, or if you need to hear this, here's some more information without necessarily sharing it to all of my audience all the time.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so important to incorporate that cross posting. And I think that you're doing it in a really great way because exactly you don't want to completely overwhelm the people in the dirt chalk bags with that. It's more about the chalk bags. It's more about the experience of climbing and all that stuff. But still, your audience over there definitely needs your outdoor RD help. There's definitely people in that audience who need to be hearing it. And so I'm so glad that you're cross-posting and everything.
Yeah. And it's definitely, I'm still working to find that balance. Since it's so new, I was I don't want all of my content to be about my other business. Still want to focus on the products that I'm making and everything behind this business. But yeah, every time I post, I get so many people that reach out that are thankful for me recognizing it. Because a lot of brands, especially in climbing, aren't talking about it at all. And it's such a huge issue. I forget who did the study, but eating disorders in climbing are twice the national average, and female climbers, it's 3 times the national average. It's plaguing everyone. And even people that don't develop full eating disorders, there's still definitely really big culture of dieting to lose weight or extreme training to the point that it's just super disordered and even if you don't partake in the actual physical side, whether that's restriction or training, just the mental issues that can come with some of the words that we use in climbing
totally
can be super harmful. So yeah, I've been trying. That's kind of where I'm going with dirt chalk bags, is using my platform to do good. So I started an ambassador program a month ago, and my ambassadors are promoting social justice. They're promoting sustainability. So they're cleaning up the crags. They're going to women of color climbing events and promoting this because there's so many issues in climbing. And we tend to think of ourselves as this awesome group of people that have no issues and we're above the normal. But there's still so much racism and there are so many problems with people littering in the crags. And I know I've experienced so much sexism in climbing. There's so many issues that we still need to fight about. So while that's not going to be the only thing that I post about, those are issues that I care deeply about. And I found that when I share the things that I actually care about and I'm passionate about, a lot of people tend to speak up and stand behind me. And they're like, thank you for talking about this, because all of these other climbing brands pretend like none of this happens, which I think is the other benefit of being a woman in climbing. Like, I think I'm a little bit more sensitive to these things because a lot of the other climbing brands are male run. They're usually like white males that are very stereotypical. So not saying that they don't experience these things, but they're just less likely to. So I've had experience, and I am from an extremely diverse area, living right outside of DC my whole life, that I've been able to like witness these things in real time.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of fun to take something that grew without me realizing it, like your chalk bag like turned into its own thing, and realize that I actually have a power to like influence people now. Like, I can actually make a difference, which is kind of my whole reason that I started working more on branding. I was like, I can actually do that, like make positive change in the climbing world now.
Yes.
Which is fun. It's super fun.
Yes. Oh man, I am just all for what you're about, girl. And I just am always over here cheering, like, yes, this is amazing. Because, you know, I'm a climber as well. I've struggled with an eating disorder back in high school, still ongoing sometimes, all that stuff. And I just love that you are bringing this into the climbing space. I just think it's so important. And the way I'm feeling about your brands, both of your brands, is just like exactly how everyone else is feeling. Like, the more you can stand up for your brand values, shout your brand values. Yes, some people aren't going to like it, but that's a good thing almost, because then the people who love you, like, love you even more, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, I've had some instances that, like, especially with men, I will say, like, tabling, because I go to rock gyms all the time. That's my favorite thing to do, is like to actually go out, set up a table, and like talk to people.
Yeah.
And I've made so many friends that way. It's really awesome to actually like connect and talk them through the process of sewing it and tell them all about the artist. Because I work with 30 different artists to design my chalk bags, and I'm like their biggest fan. Like, I cheer them on all the time. So if someone like picks up something, I'm like, this is who she is. Go look her up. She lives in a van. She's super cool.
Yeah.
So I love it. We'll spout out all this information about everyone that I work with. But I have noticed that I have received not negative comments from men. Like, sometimes they're like, why do you need to talk about this? Or if I'm bringing up certain topics, usually the only responses I get are from women. So if I'm talking about like sexism in climbing or body image issues, things like that, like, I'm only really hearing from women, not that men don't experience, you know, emotional abuse, or they're definitely susceptible to eating disorder. But yeah, I've definitely had men tell me that they don't want to hear about what I'm saying. They don't experience it. They don't think sexism in climbing is a big deal. Where I'm like, I once had a man yell at me at a rock gym because he thought the crimp was just a foothold on a boulder problem. He's like, that's not a handhold. You can't put your hand there. That's for your feet. And I was like, if I'm touching it, like if my hand fits on it, it's a handhold. Like, I'm going to use it. And he like physically yelled at me. And then he went to get a staff member to like show him the beta, because he couldn't do it. And the staff member, like, he used the foothold as a handhold. And then I was like, yep, that was right. And I sent it. And he was like, can you show me like your beta again? And I was like, no, you screamed at me like 2 minutes ago.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I've had a lot of issues in climbing, and I'll like talk about it. I talk about it openly, especially to my male friends. Be like, this happened. Like, if I go to the crag, like half the time they just assume that I'm a new climber, and like this guy that has never climbed before is like my boyfriend and he's going to teach me everything. And I'm like, actually, it's the opposite way around. Like, I'm teaching them everything. They have no idea how to do anything. I was like, this is his first day climbing. I've been climbing for 3 years. Like, I'm teaching them. But yeah, and I've had gym managers tell me that like my bags aren't worth it and I should be charging half the rate because, you know, he was like, oh, this plain chalk bag is cheaper than yours. I'm like, well, that's made by a machine and mine are handmade, and I'm supporting, you know, 30 different women artists, and this is made out of recycled water bottles. And so there's definitely always kind of a fight being a woman entrepreneur. Oh my God, words.
I do the same thing, girl.
A woman entrepreneur. There is always something that we're dealing with. And especially since I do work with so many other small companies and so many artists, I feel like the best way to actually have people understand that what we're all going through is just being open about it. I try not to like complain, or if I'm having a rough day, I just write it down in a note and I walk away. And sometimes I just delete it because I'm like, okay, let's not share that.
Let's get it away.
Like, I got it off my shoulder. Yep. Let's not share that with the world. But yeah, just writing it out, I feel like it's the best thing. And then sometimes I'll be like, okay, that was a little much, but like, let's take a piece of that. And maybe that can help someone else that's starting a business, or like a new artist that is just struggling right now. Because I talk to all of my artists all the time because they're amazing. And they're going through the same exact things. Like, people tell them all the time that like this painting they worked on for 2 years is not worth anything, and like that they're charging way too much and all of these things, which I feel like we're just conditioned to as women, that we're like conditioned to not charge what we're worth until someone tells us that we're worth that much. We're like so used to not valuing ourselves properly. Yeah. So, and we're badass, so we should charge anything.
We are such badasses. Yeah. And girl, I mean, it's also just, I know this is something I think that so many people struggle with when it comes to pricing. Is like, there's different perspectives, right? So there's the man who's like, you should be charging less. Look at the price of this cheaper chalk bag. And I went to your website and I was like, wow, all of our chalk bags are so cheap, honestly, like not really. And I was like, these are all handmade and everything. Oh my goodness. And we had a conversation about pricing your chalk bags. But those people who think that they should be cheaper, those aren't your people, right? The people who want to pay the premium because of all the good that you're promoting, the ideas you're promoting, and like the great materials you're using and all of that stuff, like those are your people.
I had one of my artists once tell me, I love this quote. Her name's Gianna Andrews. And she said, if the door doesn't open, it's not your door.
Okay.
So like, if a door closes in your face, or like if that opportunity is like shut in front of you, that's not your door. Those aren't your people, which no one's going to always like what you're putting out. So I've definitely had to be conscious of that with both my businesses. Like, intuitive eating's not for everyone. And some people ask me, they're like, do you just have like a solid black chalk bag? And I'm like, no, that is not who I am. I was like, there are so many options. You can find that on
any other.
I'm like, okay, you just walk away. But yeah, just actually accepting that definitely took a long time, that what I'm doing is worth the pricing. And I do try to keep everything affordable. So I'm not like banking super hard off of anything, because I know that, like, especially as climbers, and when I started this, I was a college climber, so like literally no money. So I do everything so that I'm getting paid enough to support myself, and my artists are getting paid enough to support themselves, but it's not crazy. Like, I've seen chalk bags on Etsy like 8 times the amount of mine. And I'm like, why would anyone pay for that? They are making like hundreds of dollars off of something that took them 15 minutes.
Well, and that's what's so awesome about you. Like, you are so... both of your businesses are just so much a part of who you are, and you have so much experience with it, right? I think that that's what just makes it so special, is because you can totally relate to like the dirtbag climbers. We're cheap people, right?
I was like, when I started, the whole thing that like actually made me start dirt chalk bags is there was a chalk bag that I wanted so badly, and it was $60, which, like, thinking about it, that's nothing. I spend like $1,000 on fabric at a time, but like $60 to 19-year-old Julianne was like getting stabbed in the heart.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that is not happening.
Yeah.
So I just found fabric and like hand sewed the lumpiest little chalk bag and had my mom like crochet something for the outside. It was so bad.
Goodness.
And I loved that so much. I was like, this is my bag. I have it. It's back in Maryland, but yeah, it's hanging in my closet in Maryland. I'm going to keep it forever.
You should post that on dirt bags. You should post a little picture of it and just be like, this is the OG.
I need to. It is so lumpy. Like, for a drawstring, it's just like a piece of yarn that like comes out of a hole that I like stabbed with a pencil.
I love it. So when did you get your sewing machine and start the ball rolling more?
I told my boyfriend this story yesterday, actually, but so I made that chalk bag for a trip I took to.
Are you enjoying this episode so far? If you answered with a big hell yes, I would love to ask you to snap a screenshot and share it to Instagram so all your biz buddies can hear it too. And don't forget to tag us at FeelGoodSocial so we can spread the love right back to you. Thank you so much for listening, my friend. Let's dive back in.
So I made that chalk bag for a trip I took to the West Coast right before my senior year of college. So I made that one. And I accidentally like ripped it a little bit. So I was like, oh, I'll make myself a second one. And I made one for my boyfriend at the time, but I had leftover fabric. So I made a couple more and like sold them for like $3 or something. Yeah. And I was hand sewing the whole thing. Like now I have a sewing machine.
Goodness.
But I like hand sewed everything for all of these and sold them to people at my rock gym. And my mom was like, she seems to be having fun with that. I don't know what to get her for Christmas. So she bought me a sewing machine. And I was like, oh, I don't really want this. I was going to return it. I was like, what am I going to do with a sewing machine?
Oh.
So yeah, my mom is the reason that I have a business right now. She bought it for me and I like thought about it. I was like, man, I was hoping that maybe I'd get, you know, a new pair of hiking boots or a tent. Like I really wanted a robe.
I love it. That is hilarious.
But yeah, she bought a sewing machine and I like almost returned it. And then I got bored during winter break. So I like opened it and sewed 12 chalk bags. And my friend convinced me to start an Etsy. And here we are now, which is so funny.
I love it.
But yeah, definitely has come so far with me like fighting it the whole way.
Like, yeah, you're like, this business is gonna happen no matter what. The universe is making it happen.
The universe wants dirt chalk bags. So you know what? I'm just gonna submit to the universe. I love doing it too. Whenever I tell people that, I was like, I sound so mean, like I hate my business, but I love it. I just never really, you know, my whole focus since I was 15 has been becoming a dietitian, starting my own nutrition counseling business. Like that was the only thing I had in mind. And I'm so stoked to be doing that now. But now I'm like thinking about it. And I was like, I love sewing. Like it's so fun to just sit down and create something. And all the artists I work with are amazing. And it's so fun to like have this really cool community. And my favorite thing is walking into a rock gym and like looking up and seeing like my chalk bag dangling.
Goodness.
And it just like makes me giddy.
I love it.
So I'm like, this is definitely a part of me and a business that I want to kind of nurture. And there's definitely room in my life to do both. It's definitely a lot of balance and a lot. Now I'm working on setting boundaries. That's a new thing.
Yes.
Boundaries are important. But yeah, I would definitely not trade either of them for anything. I love having both in my life.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So many questions. But let's see. Okay. I'm like maybe side noting a little bit still, but I'd love to hear how you just started working with all these artists and everything, because some of the artists that you use for your chalk bags are like my favorite artists on Instagram, and I have prints from them and everything. It's so great.
Yeah. That was also kind of like, I wouldn't say that was an accident, but that's definitely snowballed a lot faster than I ever expected it to. So I started my Etsy January of my senior year, and I really wanted like landscapes. Like I wanted that scenery because no one else was having really bags like that. And that's what I wanted. I wanted like a chalk bag that showed these places because I went to school in Florida. So like, I was like, everything's flat and palm trees. I was like, I want to see the mountains. Like I want to look at mountains when I climb. So I actually got like a blue fabric and hand sewed. I got gray fabric and hand sewed mountains like all around my bag, which was awesome, but took so much time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I only have like one pattern I can do.
Yeah.
So I like was looking around, just looking for fabric that would fit a chalk bag and have that scenery. And I spent like months doing this. And then finally I was like, can I custom print? Like, is that a thing? Like, there must be a way to print on fabric. So I looked that up, and I have a whole bunch of friends that are artists. So my first batch of my artist series were actually my college friends.
Oh, cool.
And we printed those out, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. And I had some artists in mind that I like found through Instagram, and I wrote them notes, and I was like, they're all going to say no. But I was like, no one's going to say yes if you don't ask. So I just went and I reached out to all these people, and I don't think I've ever been turned down.
Yeah.
So that was like my first couple months of business, was just like finding artists all over Instagram.
Yes.
Sometimes in real life, like I would meet them and I'm like, oh my God, your art's really cool. And then give them my card and we talk. And after like a couple months, people just started coming to me. So I used to spend like hours on Instagram searching for people. And I'm like, oh, their art's really cool. I want to use that or that. And occasionally people will still come across my Instagram and I'm like, I need to reach out to them. But now I get like messages every day for people to work with me, which is nice. It saves me so much time.
Oh, man, I'm so happy that you found them on Instagram, because I was kind of wondering. I was just like, wow, she works with like Rhiannon and Rachel. Those are two that I definitely follow.
Yeah.
And I just like love that. And that just makes me so happy, because I think that you probably know this a little bit. I'm not a super fan of social media. Like I don't love Instagram and all that stuff, but I think that I love it now with the way that we can use it. I love when people are using it for good to like really connect with people. It's just such it's such an amazing tool when you think of it that way.
Yeah, no, I have made so many connections, and people ask me that all the time. They're like, how do you know all these artists from all over the globe? Really? I'm like, Instagram. Like they found me or I found them. And now like some of my artists I've been working with for 2 years. I was actually hiking in Moab and I ran into Rhiannon and she was like climbing Cap. She was like hiking down and I was like, oh my God, I've worked with you for a year. Like we saw each other and like I had never met her in real life, but we like knew who we were and we went and had coffee.
Oh man, that is so amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And then I saw her again in Lander at the International Climbers Festival. So it's super fun to now, like when I travel, I've met up with Katie Van Nostrand. I always mess up her name. Mm-hmm. She's an artist out in Carbondale, Colorado. And I like stopped in, she took me on a tour of the town, and like I have people everywhere now.
Yes.
And it's really cool to like see these online relationships like turn into real life relationships.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely super fun to have made those connections along the way. Definitely did not ever expect that to happen. The day that Rachel Pohl emailed me to be like, hey, I'd like to work with you, I like danced around my room. I think I might have cried. I was like, she is my favorite artist.
Yes.
I'm like looking at her print on my wall right now. But yeah, it definitely, Instagram has changed this. Like I would not have this business without Instagram. As much as I like hate sitting there like vegging out on it, I love it.
I know, it's so true. Oh, there goes my drink water alarm on my phone. I have them set like every 2 hours because I don't know if this is you at all, but I just like get so sucked into like what I'm doing that I don't even move for hours.
Yeah. That's something I've been trying to break, especially with sewing. I'm like, okay, if I get through this batch, like you're allowed to go to the bathroom. I'm like, no, this is not a sweatshop. Like you can drink water when you need it. Yeah, definitely working on that.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to me about the boundaries that you're setting on Instagram. Maybe like, how are you managing these accounts and not letting it take over your life and everything?
Having everything pre-planned has actually helped with that a lot, because before, especially for dirt bags, I just kind of like scroll a little bit and then be like, I think I'll post about this today. And I love climbing. So getting on my dirt bags Instagram is actually really hard because I follow all these really cool art accounts and these really cool climbing accounts. And I'll be like, oh my God, I sat here for 2 hours watching people climb their like kitchens right now. So lately I've been only trying to go on within the hour that I post something.
Right.
So if I post something that day, I give myself an hour max to kind of go on, interact with people, see what people are up to, maybe spread some comments, and just keep up with my artists. And I've been doing the same thing for the outdoor RD. So like I'll post something and then I give myself an hour either to like find maybe some new potential clients, like going out for targeted outreach, or just catching up with some other dietitians and seeing what they're up to kind of generate some more ideas for me. So definitely setting a little bit of boundaries with that. I've kind of stopped using Instagram for my personal account. Like I've posted on there like twice in the past year, which sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel bad I'm not keeping up with my friends. But at the same time, like I call them while I sew and things like that. So that's okay. But yeah, if I need, I also, my whole goal with Outdoor D, what I teach all my clients and everyone is to live gently with yourself. Like just do what's best for you, do the kind thing for you in the moment. So sometimes that's just like watching puppy videos on Instagram for 30 minutes and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
So just trying to be a little bit more mindful with when I'm doing it. I usually keep my phone. I don't charge my phone at night, so then it has to charge during the day and it can't reach my sewing table. So then it will like sit over there because I'll get notifications throughout the day. And then I just handle those when I'm posting.
Yes.
Or if I don't post that day, I like right after lunch or something, I'll sit down, go through them. And I kind of have to just prioritize what's important in the moment. So sometimes I'll post something, I'll get like 20 comments and I'm like, okay, you're not going to respond to those today. You're going to respond to those tomorrow. You don't have the either mental capacity or the actual time to do that today. So just kind of, being a little bit gentler with myself, even though I know you're supposed to like do certain things in certain times. And sometimes I have to be a little bit more lax with like my actual marketing strategy just to be okay with me because that's the other hard part about having a product-based business for me is that it's all handmade. So like all my income on that side is active income. So I like actually have to sew to sell things. So being able to manage the time that I'm marketing the things and then actually producing the things has definitely been a balance. And then like actually enjoying my life, that's kind of important to me.
Yes. Oh man, I'm so happy that you signed up for the social map because like that's exactly what I wanted it to be about. I think it's just so important to make Instagram work for you and your brand and your audience and your lifestyle and not, I see that all the time, just people, that's when Instagram gets stressful is when we feel like we are slaves to the platform and slaves to all of that. And so I think that setting those boundaries is so helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been really nice, especially, so I still have to map out for the dirt chalk bags. I still have to map out next month. I decided to push it back. So during the course, I focused on the outdoor RD because that is my new business. And I really want to grow that right now. Whereas dirt chalk bags is already kind of sustainable on its own. So that's again, another boundary. I'm like, okay, these are my two little babies and we're going to put a little bit more water onto that one and focus on that one coming up. And it's been really nice, especially since those captions, I think for like service-based businesses, you need a little bit more work, especially with how emotional and how much knowledge I have in that area. Whereas I can like post a chalk bag and be like, cute.
Look at this pretty chalk bag.
Adorable mountains. And then whereas I can't do that for the outdoor RD, like I actually have to provide more value rather than having the focus on the visual. The caption definitely needs more work.
Yeah.
Definitely boundaries.
Yeah. And I just think that that's so, I nerd out about this stuff. I love it. Because it's like, it's such a great idea to focus on your outdoor RD. You have those like deeper captions, all the things. And then you can maybe, as you're planning your dirt chalk bags, take like snippets, and make them a little lighter from the outdoor RD one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. I'm all about, working smarter, not harder. So you're doing a great job, girl.
Yeah. And it's nice to have, once I have like the stress off from the outdoor RD, I was like, okay, that's the heavy stuff. Then I can kind of focus easier on dirt chalk bags. That's a little bit less. So I'm not like brain dead by the time I'm like looking at those things.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm able to kind of plan that a lot easier. So just having the stress off makes it so much easier to run the other account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's definitely a learning curve from going like doing nothing to like actually, but it's so much easier now to actually be like, okay, here's what we're writing about. Here's what we're highlighting. Here's what I need photos of.
Yeah.
So now because of your course, I'm like collecting photos all the time, and I'm collecting captions, and I'm being a little bit more mindful with my time. So I'm not just sitting on my phone all day.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's all about just like, that's why the strategy is so important. And I think it's hard. I think it is hard for maybe people to create a social media strategy just like out of thin air. You know, it's so much easier to have guidance. But once you have that guidance, then I think it's not too bad, really. How do you feel about it?
I didn't even know. This is like another embarrassing, I wouldn't say it's embarrassing, but it's embarrassing for me. Like the same fact that I'm running a company that I never intended to be a company. I didn't know that, like, I knew that marketing was a thing and that there was like tactics behind it, but I didn't really understand that there was like actual, I have friends that like graduated in marketing, and I never really understood what that meant. I was like, they just design ads or something. Like I didn't really know anything. And I didn't know that was something that like I should know.
Well, I mean, it's hard. I mean, girl, I honestly, I went to school for journalism. I like didn't really even go to school for marketing and all this stuff. I'm fairly new to it. It's so funny. Whenever we went to Asia, like 3 years ago now, my boyfriend and I were like, we're going to be rock climbing influencers, you know, we're going to like take Instagram photos and slap them on Instagram and all this stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. And it's so funny, if I would have like what I know now versus what I knew then, maybe we would be rock climbing influencers, you know? I was like, all you have to do is slap a photo on Instagram and it's cool. They'll come, you know?
They'll show up.
Yeah. Don't ever be embarrassed for not knowing that stuff. It's just about like reforming the way that you think of using the platform, thinking about it as a tool, maybe, I guess. That was kind of my biggest insight.
Yeah. Like I didn't really know. I like started an Instagram when I started Dirt Chalk Bags because I was like, that seems like something that brands do. So let's do that.
Yeah.
And I like had I still am. I need to actually implement the strategy, but like my posts are super random. Like there is no cohesion. It's all over the place. So actually like having a strategy, I was like, okay, this is good. Like I know what I need. But yeah, I was like, what would this be if I had been doing this for the past 2 years? Like from the beginning, if I knew how to do this, oh my God, I can't even imagine.
I'm so excited just to see like your progress and your journey and everything, because exactly like I think you're doing an amazing job with the outdoor RD, and I think that account is going to grow in like an incredible way, not just like grow in numbers, but I just love the message. I think your message is going to spread.
Yeah.
And then with Dirt Chalk Bags, you already are doing so well on Instagram, and now implementing this strategy is, I think, just going to take the stress out of like the social media marketing aspect of it, but then also just give it a little bit more direction. And I think that that's going to take off. Like, yeah, it's awesome.
I'm definitely, especially seeing, I sent you the 2 screenshots of my outdoor RD page. I was like, before it was like blurry photos of food and like random, it was so all over the place. It looked terrible. And now I'm like, oh my God, like, I just want to look at it. I was like, it looks pretty. It's like, it's very clear about like who I am, what I like, and really promotes my messaging. Whereas before you would like click on the page and you're like, I have no idea what this girl's about. So yeah, it looks so much better now.
Oh man, I love it. That makes me so happy. Well, tell us, I guess, what has been maybe the most helpful thing when it's come to like using Instagram to market your businesses?
I would actually probably say stories.
Mm-hmm.
I never really had done Instagram stories before. I'd never talked to Dirt Chalk Bags until like a month ago. Like I had never shown my face. Like they'd seen like the back of my head in chalk bag photos, but I was like, these people have no idea who I am. Mm-hmm. People don't know anything about me. So now I've actually started to like talk on stories and put a face to the brand. Mm-hmm. So people actually like understand who I am. And that's been huge. I've seen crazy growth, a lot more engagement. But yeah, Instagram stories have been huge. It's so much easier to like just talk quickly. And if I mess up, it goes away in 24 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, Instagram stories have been huge for marketing. And I get so many more views on that than I do on a post.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know a lot of brands aren't really, or I think that a lot of people in general still don't really know how to use the stories and stuff. But it's such a fun tool because you can, it's for like testing things out and being goofy, and then all the interactive features are so much fun.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like having polls. Like now especially for dirt chalk bags, like I ask people what they want. I'm like, hey, I'm making this product. Do you want it like this? Do you want it like that?
Yeah.
Like if I make it like this, will you buy it? And things like that. Like, do you like these designs or these designs? And then when I actually post the product and I'm like, this is what you guys voted for, immediately it all sells out.
Yeah.
Like, you guys wanted this? Here it is.
I love it.
And the sales have been so much better. I did that with like sticker designs. I did that the other day with backpacks.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, okay, you guys didn't like this design, but you like this design. So I'm going to make those. And here they are.
I love it.
So especially for like a physical product, that's so much easier. Because I'm like, why would I be spending my time making something that people don't want? And now I actually know that you guys like this design, or you like a roll top backpack, or you like a lid, you don't like the drawstring, things like that. Just make everything so much easier. Because I know my opinion, but like, I'm
like
one person.
Yeah. And you're not going to buy from yourself, you might keep one, but
yeah.
I love though that you brought that up, girl. And it sounds like you don't really need this right now, but I did hear this Instagram kind of strategy from this lady, Jasmine Star. She's really awesome, but she was talking about how she will use the poll feature. So when people vote on your poll, you can go into your stories and see who votes on what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for her, for a product, that'd be awesome. Or for like a service-based person or something, she does like, do you want a blog post about this or a blog post about this kind of thing? And then after they vote, she'll go into the poll results and direct message the people who voted.
That's so smart.
Right? I know. I was like, that is ingenious. Be like, this is what you asked for.
Like, hey,
here you go.
Here it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it could be used for like products or like blog posts or whatever value you're giving. But exactly, it's like, you asked for it. Here it is. Just saw that you voted, wanted you to get like the first opportunity to buy this product, or I saw that you wanted this blog post, just wanted to send you this if it's valuable information for you, like that sort of thing.
Start doing that.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, I love that strategy. And so I was just like, just so ingenious. And it's really about being helpful.
They're like, obviously they're already interacting with you, so you already have that spot. Like, they're not just clicking through, they're already interacting. So they're already interested.
Yeah, girl. Such a good idea. I know, and it's coming from a place of helpfulness and just making people feel special and making people feel seen again and taken care of and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's the part I love about marketing, because I always kind of had a bad taste in my mouth about it too. But I love the way marketing is trending from like the infomercial, like in your face craziness, into more of this personal interactions, I guess, and community building.
Now, I almost got a business coach for the outdoor RD like 2 months ago. And I was like, okay, I need this. And I clicked on their site and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm on like that As Seen on TV. I was like, I cannot work with this person. I was like, why would I want to sell like that? So definitely more of like, the targeted outreach. And already for the outdoor D, I've seen in the past month, I've probably gotten like 100 new followers, and a lot of them message me like daily. I am actually having conversations with these women.
I love it.
And it's been so nice just to hear people's experiences, even if they're not going to work up with me one-on-one. To know what they're going through helps me kind of grow what I know, expand my experience so that I can help my clients who are going through similar situations. So definitely been so fun, especially when we're stuck inside like this in a quarantine. It's awesome to just have a community and talk to people. And just, I love people. So it's great talking to everyone every day.
And I love to, I always remind myself on Instagram, it's like, still invest that time, spend that time on those people who maybe aren't going to buy from you or aren't ready to buy from you, but their recommendation is still just as valuable as them buying from you, right?
Yeah.
And so just the more that you can like invest in people and spend time like that, I think is just wonderful.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I did a free like Love Your Body workshop, and some of the women that participated in that have like tagged me in other posts where they've had friends that have been like, oh, Instagram, all of this diet culture and these like negative fitness instructors. I just want to cancel my account. Yeah. And they're like, hey, go follow the Outdoor RD. Like, I love her stuff. She's helping me a ton with my self-love. And I'm like, thank you.
Oh, man, I love it.
Thank you for promoting me.
That just makes me so happy, Julianne. I've just loved having you in the course. It's just been so wonderful. And I'm so just excited to follow your journey and grab some chalk bags from you and like tell my friends all about you. Thanks for joining us, girl.
Thanks for teaching me.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you found value in the course and everything. It's been so great.
Yeah, and I've been listening to the podcast every week.
So. Oh, yay. Okay, yeah, this week's is it's a little bit different, not social media. It's Enneagram stuff. Are you into the Enneagram at all?
I had a friend this summer that was like super into it, but I can't remember my number. She made us all take the exam.
Yeah.
And it was like spot on. It was scary. I can't remember what number. I might have been a number 2.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's whatever one that you tend to give a lot more than you get.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that's me. I have a really hard time saying no to people.
Yeah, that sounds like a 2. I know, I'm just learning about it too, but it's been super fun. And I found this lady on Instagram and she was like, do you want free Enneagram consultations? I was like, please. And so then I was like, girl, you have to come on the podcast. But okay, that was a little bit of a tangent, but
I love tangents.
Okay, well, Julianne, tell everyone where they can find you because I'm sure that everyone's going to want to connect with you and stalk you on Instagram.
Okay, so my 2 accounts for Dirt Chalk Bags, it's just at Dirt Chalk Bags. As it sounds.
Okay.
The website title is still being messed with, but there's a link in my bio for that.
I'll link it down below in the show notes too. So
yeah, dirtchalkbags.com is taken, sadly.
Oh no.
Yeah, by some random site that just bought the domain. What can I do?
Yeah, what the heck?
But for the Outdoor RD, it is the_outdoor_RD. So pretty simple. And then it's the same thing for the website, www.theoutdoorrd.com.
Awesome. And everything will be linked below in the show notes. And thanks so much for coming on the show, Julianne.
Thank you for having me.
Isn't Julianne one of the sweetest, most inspiring, and real people you've ever met? I absolutely loved working with her in the Social Map course, and she is seriously killing it at the entrepreneurial and Instagram game, which is why I knew that I needed to bring her on the show. And speaking of the Feel Good Social Map, if you would like to ramp up your social calendar for July so that you can see more success this summer with way less stress, don't forget to sign up for our June session at feelgoodsocial.com/social-map. I know I can help you use social media in the best way that works for you so that you can spread your message, build your audience, and move your bottom line without stressing out and wasting time. Just head to feelgoodsocial.com/social-map to learn more and join our awesome program. Thank you again for listening, my friend. You know I appreciate you, and I'll catch you next Thursday. Thanks so much for listening, my friend. For show notes and a whole lot of other awesome freebies, visit feelgoodsocial.com. Simply go to feelgoodsocial.com for all the goods.